So it's time for us to go and take a look at the original Sony PSP, the original PlayStation Portable, and see how this particular gaming console holds up in 2025. Now, I will definitely tell you in a lot of ways this type of console possibly is still worth buying, but in a lot of other ways, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to go through and buy maybe the original one. I do think there's really good options out there, and if you're looking for a particular type of device, it might make more sense to go through and buy something like maybe another one of these types of consoles rather than this one, but we'll kind of take a look at it throughout this whole entire video and see what happens. Now, the thing I will definitely tell you is that the PSP is easily still one of my most favorite type of gaming consoles out there. One of the coolest things about the PSP right now, even in 2025, is the amazing gaming library that you're having inside of this type of console. So inside of something like the PSP, you're going to be getting a really, really good type of device when it comes down to its capability of its basically like its gaming library. There's like an endless amount of games that you can play inside of this thing, and that right there is a very, very nice thing. There's also a lot of like backwards compatible games. There were some PS1 games and some older games that were supported on this type of console as well, and that right there was a really nice thing. It's also very, very affordable because it had that UMD slot. You can go through and you can just buy a bunch of used games, and you can just go ahead and throw all those games inside of this gaming console as well, which is also another one of those really nice things as well. So it kind of stands the test of time, so to speak, a little bit, because you're still able to go through and pick up a gaming console that's going to be giving you a really good experience from that particular side, which I genuinely think is a really nice thing when it kind of comes down to it from that particular side as well. Again, maybe it isn't the most perfect situation of all time, but it is a really nice thing to be able to go through and pick up some sort of a gaming console like this, because it is a really nice little, it's a really nice touch. Now, I think another really cool thing to keep in mind here as well is if you're going to go through and pick up some of these types of consoles, they're fairly, portable, and that's the name of the game. There's a huge modding community behind it, a huge, homebrew community behind it. You can install a bunch of custom firmware inside of this type of gaming console, and that right there has always been one of the coolest things going on for this type of console as well, because you're able to basically go through and pick up some sort of these types of consoles that give you an amazing type of layout when it comes down to it from that side. So like I've stated before, I genuinely think that right there is a really, really cool thing to have. And if you're going to be able to go through and pick up any type of gaming console, that is going to be such a nice touch. Now, this thing is not perfect. It is a little bit of an aging type of system when it comes down to it. So that right there is going to be a little bit of a problem depending on who you are, because you're definitely going to be getting somewhat of an older, outdated system when it kind of comes down to it from that side. So it's a little bit outdated. The battery life really isn't that great either. So you're definitely going to be getting a little bit of an outdated type of system when it comes down to it from the battery life department as well. So again, maybe it isn't necessarily perfect, but you are still going to be getting somewhat of like a good type of system when it comes down to it from the capability standpoint, but the battery life standpoint might not be that great. But it does give you that type of battery life, or that battery type, where you are able to go through and kind of exchange it out, because it is a removable battery. So I will tell you, in my personal opinion, I definitely do think there's a lot of value in buying the original hardware of a game and then playing that game like that. But emulation is so big nowadays. There are tons of emulators out there that you can kind of choose from. And I think a PSP is really nice. I don't know if I'd recommend buying the original PSP though. I do think it probably would make more sense to go through and buy one of the later generation ones. Like if you can go through and buy something like the PSP 3000 or a PSP Go in some capability. I probably wouldn't recommend buying a PSP Go, but definitely at least a PSP 3000 or a PS Vita. Those ones might be better than the original PSP, but I still think the original one still has some capability going on for it too, because it's such a beautiful console. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.